Can an average human brain truly devour an entire curriculum in just a few hours? Imagine walking into an examination hall, and the moment you see the questions, information begins to flow from your memory with breathtaking fluidity, as if you were reading from an open book right before your eyes, without confusion, hesitation, or the fear of blanking out. This isn't a scene from a movie. It is the radical transformation experienced by Rami. Rami wasn't born a genius. In fact, he was a student who struggled with constant distraction, repeating a sentence dozens of times, only to forget it a minute later, lost among mountains of textbook pages. However, on one fateful night, before a high-stakes exam, he decided to stop studying hard and start studying smart. By morning, the result was staggering: a perfect score and a sense of psychological calm he had never felt before. So, how did Rami turn into a biological information radar? What are the 5 strategies that flipped the script on his academic life? Here are the details that might just be the key to your next breakthrough. Strategy 1. Information architecture. The chunking technique. The first thing Rami realized is that the brain rejects solid blocks of data. Imagine trying to swallow an entire loaf of bread in one go. You would surely choke. This is exactly what we do to our minds when we try to memorize an entire page as a single massive unit. The principle of turning chaos into organized boxes. Instead of memorizing 20 lines of text, Rami broke them down into functional units. This paragraph is the cause, this is the effect, and this is the example. The application: he gave each chunk a catchy mental title and associated it with a symbol or color. Red for fixed facts, blue for side notes. The result: during the exam, Rami didn't recall pages, he recalled titles and boxes. Once a box was mentally opened, the associated details flowed out automatically. Strategy 2. The language of the brain, visual encoding. Rami discovered a profound neurological secret. Your brain does not think in words. It thinks in images. We remember the faces of our friends and the details of our streets for years, yet we forget a definition we read an hour ago. Why? Because images are stored in much deeper recesses of memory. The scientific basis: Rami relied on the dual coding theory. Research shows that the recall rate of information jumps from 10% text only to 65% if paired with a clear visual. The application: Rami transformed dry concepts into vivid scenes. Physical pressure was no longer just a law. He imagined it as a giant boulder crushing a balloon. The more absurd or funny the scene, the stronger it stuck. The result: the curriculum transformed from dull words into a vibrant photo album that was easy to flip through mentally. Strategy 3. Active retrieval, smart repetition. The biggest trap students fall into is the illusion of competence. Rereading makes you feel like you know the material. But the truth is, the info is only in your short-term memory. Rami used the forgetting curve principle by Hermann Ebbinghaus, which proves we lose 70% of what we learn after just one day if we don't lock it in. The application: Rami used a compressed version of spaced repetition. Instead of spending hours on one lesson, he reviewed the section immediately after memorizing it by closing the book and testing himself. Then an hour later, then right before sleep. The secret: strength lies in retrieval, pulling info out of the brain, rather than input, shoving it in again. This mental strain of remembering is what builds unbreakable neural pathways. Strategy 4. The magic of drama, narrative linking. Some information is stubborn and doesn't work well with isolated images, like long lists or historical dates. Here, Rami used the weapon of the story. The brain craves narrative sequences and flees from dry lists. The application: Rami turned a series of historical events or scientific steps into a short film. He turned laws into characters that conflict or reconcile. The logic: you might forget a law, but you will never forget what the hero, the first piece of info, did to the villain, the second piece. The strangeness of the story is what makes it indelible. Strategy 5. The mental archive, the memory palace. This is the elite technique used by world memory champions. Rami exploited the fact that our spatial memory is the strongest of all. We know the details of our homes without effort. The application: Rami imagined his house as an information palace. He placed the definition of chemistry at the front door, physics equations on the living room couch, and historical dates on the kitchen table. In the exam, Rami wasn't searching for an answer. He was walking through his imaginary home, picking up information from the specific spots he had placed them. With total composure, my message to you: before you begin. You might feel overwhelmed right now, or perhaps intimidated by the variety of these methods. But remember Rami's journey. He didn't apply everything at once. The secret isn't in quantity. It's in the willingness to change. Choose one weapon. Start with one technique, like chunking, and apply it to just one paragraph. Don't be a perfectionist. Experiment, fail, and adjust the method to fit your own thinking style. You are not less than anyone else. Rami wasn't born a genius. He simply decided to adopt a system. You are reading this because you aren't an ordinary student. You are a seeker of excellence. These tools are in your hands now, and it is not too late. Whether your exam is tomorrow or in a month, the first step begins with your decision to stop the hollow repetition and start using your brain the way it was designed to work. Now, tell me in the comments, which of these strategies felt like it spoke to your mind the most? And are you ready to test it on your next lesson? Don't forget to share this with a friend currently battling their books. This could be the lifeline they've been waiting for. Start now. The battle is won with intelligence and will, not just by the number of hours. Would you like me to help you apply one of these techniques to a specific subject you find difficult?